Hi, everybody. My name is Aaron Smith, and welcome to the 2021 USBC Masters from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. I'm actually not there. I'm coming to you live from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas, but we are going to be bringing you into the NBS, the Taj Mahal of 10 pins, to take a look at the first practice session. We'll get a first look at the oil pattern being used at this fourth major championship on the PBA Tour schedule here in 2021. So much coming up. We missed the 2020 event. So Jacob Buttriff, the 2019 champion, still your reigning champion, still going to put his title up on the line here in 2021. So first, before we get to the practice here at the Masters, going to bring in my co-host this week, Mr. Matt Cannizzaro. Matthew, hello. How are you?
Aaron Smith, glad to be back, and it's going to be some major excitement here over these next couple of weeks. Can't wait.
Absolutely. And with that, Matt, NBS, one of our favorite spots in the I believe in the entire world. So if you're not a big fan of the NBS, come on. It's so cool. But we're going to go to the lanes right now, 78 lanes at the NBS. We're taking a look into the practice session. So let's get some lanes going here. First and foremost, so you guys can see some bowling. I'm just going to go to a random channel because we have 8 of them live on Bowl TV right now. So bowltv.com, the place to be, folks. You can watch the entire practice session, all the lanes we have available to view. All you have to do is create a login. It takes about 2 minutes to do, and you'll also be eligible for some great prizes. So be on the lookout for that. But right now we're going to go I don't even know where we want to go. Let's go here. Let's see what we got. All right, folks, as we get into the excitement here, obviously we mentioned that myself and Matt are coming to you live from Texas. We have some folks on the scene, though, at the NBS, making sure all this pops up each and every day, so you have this great viewing experience. So we're going to bring in one of them right now from the Bowl TV studio at the NBS, Mr. Jason Thomas.
Hello, guys.
Hey, JT, what's up? How is Reno? How are you living? The NBS looks great. We got the masking units. We know it's going to be such a cool week here at the NBS. So much history at the NBS for the Masters. But tell us a little bit about the first few days here as we've kind of gotten into it.
Yeah, it's been really cool. First of all, this is the first time I've seen the renovated, beautiful National Bowling Stadium. And it looks fantastic. There's a lot of differences. There's a lot more space down in the settee area than there has been in the past. The concourse is different because the grandstands were largely removed, although they did leave 2 rows of seats up there for people if they wanted to go up and watch. And it's an amazing view. I mean, you guys have been up there. It's pretty cool. They've got, spaces for bowling ball manufacturer booths back where the pro shop used to be. So when the Open Championships and the Women's Championships are here, that'll be a really cool feature. But it's just way more open. And the interesting thing about what's going to happen this week is that the locker room is basically going to be the concourse. So all the players' equipment, we've taped off spots for each of the players. So they have kind of like we did at the Kickoff Classic. And they just keep their equipment right here up on the concourse. Obviously, no spectators in the building, so we're able to just, use the concourse as the locker room. So it's pretty interesting. We've got a pretty cool setup here. We've got, our interview area, but then we've also got a remote, or not. It's not really a remote. It's an on-site second Bowl TV studio, so we can do commentary from here at times, because I'm sure you guys are going to need a break at some point in the 120 hours of coverage we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks. So we've got that all set up. You can see I'm wearing a mask. All the players wearing masks as well. Those are the protocols that are in place for this week. But the most interesting and important thing is the bowling. And the guys are out practicing. I heard some funny comments from some of the players prior to starting. One of which was Chris Barnes and Martin Larson had a little exchange, and they said, "Hey, I think we're going to be using this thing a little bit more than we used it at university." Meaning, A, an Abralon pad, and B, they aren't going to be hooking a ton. And so the interesting thing to look at as you guys start getting into the patterns, which we'll show up here in a second, is just how much volume there is, and then how little bowling is actually going to be done on each pair. Because once we get into competition, there's going to be a buffer pair, as there is right now, but there's going to be a buffer pair every game. So when we show coverage, for example, on the channel that's 39 through 42, one game they'll be on 39 and 40, and then the next there'll be a group on 41 and 2. So we'll switch back and forth as the coverage goes, but it's really spread out, which means that the lanes are going to have a lot less play than they normally would, and there's a re-oil between each round. So that's definitely going to play into it. And then once you put the pattern up, you'll notice the pattern's a high volume pattern. So for the Masters, this is going to be slick. You're going to have to use a lot of surface, and they're not going to hook very much. So it's very interesting.
And we're behind lanes 53 and 54 right now, and got some pretty talented folks in the likes of Chris Vi and Sean Maldonado, fresh off his win at the Cheetah Championship at the World Series of Bowling, and both of them playing very direct here in the early going. But JT, you kind of talked about the pattern, so we can actually go ahead and take a quick look at it right now. So we're going to take the bowling away for a quick second so we can look at the pattern and break that down real quick. So we'll get a better look at JT's setup there in Reno. But as we look at the pattern, it's going to be 40 feet in length. But JT, you mentioned the volume. We're pushing over 30 mils.
Yeah. And they're only going to bowl 5 games on it, right? And so and it's really not 5 games. It's really 3. It's 3 games, and then they're gonna strip them and re-oil them, after every session. So they're gonna be slick for the whole block. It's gonna be very, very unique. It's something that we haven't seen in a very, very long time in terms of just how little transition is going to happen.
Definitely will be quick with the 5-game blocks. 15 games of qualifying over 3 days for these competitors. The top 63 will join defending champion Jacob Buttriff to the tournament's famed double elimination match play bracket. Then it becomes a whole brand new ball game, and I'm really intrigued now to kind of see how folks play this on the fresh, because they'll get to see it quite a bit, and it's not going to break down as much once you get to those 3-game matches. That's going to add a whole different element to it. But total pinfall for those 3 games will determine who continues to advance. If you lose once, that's okay. It's double elimination. If you lose twice, sorry, folks, your tournament's done. And then you got to wait for the U.S. Open coming up. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. The top 5 make it to the stepladder finals for a chance to win a major championship on the PBA Tour. That's going to be Sunday, April 4th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 local time there in the great Reno, Nevada. So let's get back to the bowling here. We'll head back to that same pair with those folks. And JT, this hour is going to go quick for us here. But as far as kind of how they're moving today, you mentioned they're going to kind of jump every 20 minutes to a different part of the house. We're using the entire house right now, correct? Correct.
The whole house will be used for qualifying, and then as we get into the match play finals, it'll happen up to further towards the high end of the house. So these players here that are bowling right now, they're broken up into 3 blocks of 3 bays, basically. And so for the first 20 minutes, the players that are on the low side will move to the middle, and then they'll bowl 20 minutes in the middle, and then they'll get a chance to bowl 20 minutes up on the high side. And so that's how the practice will be structured. But again, an hour's not a lot of time, but it's really all you're going to need, just because of the lack of transition. Another interesting thing about it, and I'll leave here in a second so you can get some real analysis from some real bowling experts. But I talked to Nick Hoagland before he got out of town earlier today, and he basically said he doesn't foresee the outside part of the lane playing that much for the Masters. So it's really interesting with a pattern with this much volume. And it looks like it has a little bit of shape, but he doesn't foresee the outside being the place to play. So, he said, I foresee the guys, playing the track and migrating a little bit from there. But it's just going to be a really interesting Masters, because normally, in the qualifying, the good players will wait for the burn day and get all their pins then. Well, that's not going to happen this year. So it's going to be really interesting to see, how the players get their pins and when.
Some excellent stuff there, JT. We appreciate that breakdown there. So, I think back a couple of years ago to the 2017 Masters show, and there was nothing but urethane balls on the rack. Jason Belmonte ended up winning his fourth Masters. Based off of that and kind of hearing that discussion, probably not too many urethane balls going to be going down the lane this week, except perhaps a shoot at spares here in the early going.
That's a very good question. I do see quite a few right now. But I think that's just because they're trying to see some different options, right? So it could be that you can use urethane, but with the fact that they're not going to transition that much, I don't know if that makes it more or less likely to see a lot of urethane being used. And if what Nick is saying holds true, and you've got to start from in a little deeper, that's going to make your carry with urethane a little worse, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see. If I had to bet, I would say you're not going to see a lot.
All right, JT, one more question for you, but before we let you start doing some sideline reporting here and finding some folks, I know you're a big Bowl TV fan. Obviously, you work it, you live it, you love it. When it comes to everything we got coming on this week and looking ahead, for the folks who are watching, we're on bowltv.com right now, where you have access to all the pairs, so you can watch. You don't even have to listen to us. You can watch just bowling from pair to pair to pair. You can, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we certainly appreciate it. But be sure to check it out on bowltv.com. Set up a login. Not only can you win something cool today, we're giving away an Amazon Echo Dot a little bit later in the broadcast, only on bowltv.com. But what do we have coming up, and why is this a great time to become a Bowl TV subscriber?
Well, it's always a great time to be a Bowl TV subscriber, but this is a huge event. Obviously, 120 hours of coverage. The reason you want to be on Bowl TV is, we have the chat function, so you can be, more interactive. You can be part of the action. You can ask us questions, and we can run down information for you, because the way we do our coverage, we can go and get a ball rep to come in and talk to a question on the chat. So it's really cool, because of the interactivity. Plus, then we have the prizes. So that just that just makes it great. But after these two events are over, we've got the PWBA tour starting right back up April 22nd. And, the season is going to be week after week after week. So you're going to want to get your subscription in order to watch PWBA. And Bowl TV is the only way to watch PWBA from start to finish, from the first ball of each event all the way to the stepladder. So those are the main reasons. Plus you gotta get your fill of Aaron Smith and Matt Cannizzaro. I mean, right?
That's a very select audience, I believe.
What's life without that?
Those poor individuals. But JT, we appreciate the breakdown, of course. This week, if you want to buy an event pass for either the Masters or the U.S. Open, $8.95 a piece for those. If you want to get it for both, $14.95 will get you basically 14 straight days of coverage with cool things, qualifying match play, practice session podcasts like this, pregame and postgame for the TV shows as well. So those are a few options if you're just interested in watching live. But if you want to kind of look long term, right now that monthly subscription recurring looking great at $9.95. If you're looking real long term, $79.95 for an annual recurring subscription. Transaction fees do apply to those folks, but a lot of great options for you to choose from. If you're looking at a monthly or annual, that gives you access to the whole site. So not only the live events, the archived, the on-demand, the coaching, the backstage, the just a little bit of everything available to you. But JT, we'll let you get back to it there at the NBS, and we'll sit back and watch a little more practice here.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Mr. Cannizzaro, as we continue to look here at lanes 53 and 54, for the folks watching on bowltv.com, once again, we're going to have 8 pairs or 8 different live feeds at one time 9 total, including this channel for you to pick from. So you get to hop around from each one. As JT said, it's going to be a little unique going from pair to pair. They're not going to necessarily be on the same lane. There'll be a little switching up, but it'll be a lot of access. But Matt, this event has a storied history. It goes back to 1951. So many great legends have arose from this event. So I know you talked to our defending champion, Jacob Buttriff, just a couple weeks ago. So tell us a little bit about Mr. Butters as he gets ready for his title defense and some of the things he's been looking forward to. He had such a great performance overall at the World Series of Bowling, making 2 shows, 2 runner-up finishes. So what's been new for Jacob getting ready for this event?
Well, Aaron, it's actually really hard to believe that it's already or only been 5 years since I was called out to the lanes at the National Bowling Stadium, the 2016 USBC Open Championships, because the young left-hander was about to take the lead in all events. So we had the Facebook Live ready to go, but before even going on the air, I had to ask 3 or 4 people, how do you say this kid's last name, right? That's how new he was to the scene. And now he's a household name 5 years later. It's hard to even talk about any event without him. And the amount of success that he's had since that day. He did not win that all events title, took the lead and finished in the top 5, but that was kind of the beginning of it. And, Buttriff, whatever you want to call him, and he's just he's been a phenomenal talent. And the quick rise, the amazing amount of regional titles he's won, being able to travel with him to multiple world championships now and to the World Cup in Mexico and see his success there. Certainly an evolution of a top young talent. But I think the important thing to note about Jacob is what has happened off the lanes. And we talked about this in the interview. He's very public with his thoughts and his feelings and some of the things that he goes through. And, at the end of 2020, he lost his mom after a long battle with cancer. And that was something that he talked about quite a bit and spent a lot of time with her in those final weeks. And then at times in his career, not taking care of himself from a health perspective, whether it be having a lunch of gummy bears and soda, to not hitting the gym like he should as an athlete. And he is very committed to all of those things. Now, sometimes you slip up every now and then and maybe takes a moment or something to get you back on track. But he certainly is back on that track, always posting now about all the great things he's cooking, all the gym time, really treating himself especially well, and doing that with his mother's honor in mind. He wants her to continue to be proud of him and says that she's going to be watching every shot the rest of the way. So he wants her to be proud, and he wants to be successful. And he knows the things that he needs to do to get there. And it's already showing. It's shown from in January at the PWBA Players Championship all the way to the World Series of Bowling, couple of runner-up finishes. He said he's back to the 2019 Jacob, who won the USBC Masters and had success nearby at the Open Championships. So he's ready to get back to it. And who doesn't love the format at the Masters, right? You fight your way in to the top 64, then anything can happen in a 3-game match. Just a really, really neat format. And for him, the pressure is really off these first couple of days, an opportunity to try some different things, figure stuff out. He's guaranteed a spot in the bracket in the top 64. So prize money coming his way, and then a chance, of course, to make it back-to-back titles. But as they say, this really is 2 tournaments in one, right? Qualifying, its own thing. And now everybody bowls 15 games of qualifying. Then when you get to match play, total different strategy. You get to a pair of lanes against an opponent. So that's your opportunity to get things going, set them up how you'd like, and get comfortable. So a lot happening. I think Buttriff is in a great place physically and mentally and ready to find success here once again.
All right, Matt, excellent stuff there. And folks, you can find that that article from Matt on bowl.com/news. But we have a guest getting ready to join us here. So we're going to bring him in right now. Chuck Gardner from Brunswick, one of their ball reps this week. Hello, Chuck, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm great. Hope you guys are.
Oh, we certainly are. It's great to see you once again. We got to chat with you quite a bit at the Kickoff Classic. So initial thoughts here. You get to see the pattern, 40 feet in length, 30 mils, pretty heavy on the volume. What's the, kind of the first conversations you're having with your players out there on how you want to attack this pattern?
Well, it's going to be really interesting because of the cross. They're gonna bowl in the fresh game 1, then bowl in the fresh again game 2, and then game 3 they go to a pair that's only had 1 game bowled on it. So it's going to be interesting to figure out how you can control the front to back motion. You really don't want to get your angles too open early for sure. So slower balls that don't come off the spot as hard. There's going to be a lot of urethane going down the lane, even though there's 30 mils. When they're this clean on the back and there's that much friction coming out of the oil pattern, urethane will become a pretty big option for a lot of players. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and people are going to have 120 hours of coverage by you guys this week, and I think that's really cool. That's a lot of coverage, and maybe they could look at how long you guys are on the air and figure out how many hours you guys are putting in, and all the staff that works for USBC, and don't forget us poor tour reps. We're here from an hour and a half before we start until an hour and a half after the last squad's done. So kind of like you guys.
Well, Chuck, that's a perfect segue too. The last time we saw you, we were just easing into 2021 and being back on the lanes. It was at the ITRC in Arlington. Just 12 lanes to cover back there in a very small field of very talented players. But here you are at the vast National Bowling Stadium, 78 lanes and more than 200 competitors. You're going to get your exercise, get your steps in. What is the strategy in trying to help everybody and figure this out when you're covering the entire building?
Well, Eric and I haven't had that discussion yet, but I'm pretty sure we'll divide the building in half. That's what we normally do when it's a big building. So I'll take the low end, he'll take the high end. That way we have a good visual of the pairs. And then if it's a player who feels they need to talk to me or they need to talk to Eric, then we could just run down and talk to them really quick. But I think watching the pairs and knowing what happened in front of you, it's way simpler to divide the building in half when we have 2 of us here.
Now, just the 2 of you, no extra help this week for this big field?
No, just the 2 of us. Where the Storm guys, they have their choice. They've got their extra guys. They got Timmy, or they've got Matt McNeil, or they got Doug Kent, or they have guys that already have a lot of history with the players. We don't really have that. It's really just Eric and I that have the history with the players. So bringing someone out to just one event, I think would be counterproductive because the players may not have a lot of confidence in them. And they've been working with Eric now for about a year and a half, and obviously been working with me since Moses parted the sea. So we're just, I think it's just better for our group to keep it just us 2, and we'll just figure it out. And if this fails, if we don't do a good job, then we'll have to start looking at it for like the first ladies tour stop coming up. We actually have John Bercier covering for Eric because Eric will be at the PBA playoffs. So, having the PBA playoffs, so John Bercier will be with me with the ladies. So it's interesting, and we love to get John a little bit more involved, but he has a real job. He's a sales rep for the company, and at the end of the day, he's got to be out selling products so that we can all afford to be out here and, hanging out with the cool guys and hopefully winning titles.
Well, Chuck, we have all the confidence in you guys this week, and I'm sure you guys and your players will do very well. And while you're there, please enjoy our favorite city a little bit for us, since we'll be far, far away.
Absolutely, man.
All right, Chuck, thanks. I'm sure we'll talk to you a few times throughout the course of the week, but we appreciate your time as always, our good friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for everything you guys do for bowling. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chuck.
You as well, sir. Thank you.
All right, Matt, as JT said, we would have these little breaks in between, and you could even see it out there on the lanes, part of the NBA staff going around sanitizing to make sure everybody's being safe out there. Obviously, procedures and protocols in place for athlete staff safety. So that's all available on bowl.com/masters. So that's really your one-stop shop for everything Masters related throughout the course of this week. But live scoring, results, lane pairings, the oil pattern, the bracket. Oh, the bracket. I missed the bracket, Matt. It's so good to see the bracket again. But, Matt, just kind of looking at some of the numbers for all this, this place has a very, the NBS has a very storied history with this event, the USBC Masters. This is the 9th time the NBS has hosted the Masters, 12th time overall in Reno, but first time since 2011. And Tom Hess, winning in dramatic fashion right there at the Taj Mahal 10-pin. So it's exciting to bring that history back to this great venue, one of our favorites, and just a longtime friend of bowling.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like the National Bowling Stadium and the history you mentioned. Seeing some of those players come back and come up that escalator, and with some faces missing this week as well, the opportunity for someone new to step up and become a part of the new National Bowling Stadium history. Of course, the renovations taking place after 25 plus years, so almost like a brand new place, and just so much to talk about, and so much hopefully to talk about now, history-wise and future history as the week unfolds.
All right, as we get into our second 20-minute block here of A Squad practice here with our podcast, let's bring in another guy who's going to be helping us out through the course of the week. Definitely one of the great individuals in the sport of bowling. Always love the opportunity to get to work with him. We don't get to do it enough, so I'm really excited for this. We got to work with him at the PWBA Kickoff Classic from Inside Bowling, Mr. Michael Flanagan. Hello, Michael.
Hey, guys. Matt, Aaron, good to see you guys.
Super jealous, Michael. Super jealous. I got to spend 6 glorious days in Reno and at the NBS in 2020 before things went the wrong way for us. I got to see all the changes and unpack the office just in time to pack it back up and hit a couple of the hot spots. But very jealous that you get to spend all this time there and watch some amazing bowling, hopefully, as well.
Yeah, I was actually up touring your office up there, Matt, just making sure everything's ready for you. So they're ready for you.
I appreciate that. We'll be back soon.
Mike, you got a unique perspective of the tournament this week. Obviously, Matt and I are about 1,500 miles away. But what's the buzz amongst the players about the Masters being back? Obviously, the tour season has been fun to watch unfold already. Folks are looking ahead to the PBA playoffs. They already got 3 majors in the books, some great TV shows as well. So what's kind of the buzz heading into the Masters as far as just kind of the excitement for the players and, for yourself personally? I know you're a huge bowling fan. What's it like for you to be able to kind of take this event in a different way from maybe previous years at the stopping by the tournament?
Yeah, just kind of like Matt said, he's jealous of me being able to be here on the ground, rightfully so. I mean, it's a privilege and an honor to be here and be able to be invited to be part of the broadcast with you two as well as Jason Thomas. So I will be covering this week. I'll be doing some on-air commentary with you guys, helping out. I'll also be doing some video footage and some vlogging and doing some social updates with Kim as well. But kind of the word on the street here is just everybody getting here safely, right? I mean, you guys know there's some pretty strict protocols this week, and some players chose not even to come out and to be a part of it, which in my professional opinion here, if you want to call it that, is a bit of a mistake. I think everybody should be here. The one thing that I believe that the USBC has done a really nice job of is they want to keep everybody safe first and foremost. I don't think that there's any sort of, they want to inconvenience anybody here. That's not what this is about. It's about being safe. We're still in a pandemic. Things are looking better. But the big story is who's here, who's not here, right? And then when you focus on who is here, we've got a talented field. I mean, over 200 players here, over 3 squads. And to those of you, I'm sure you guys have probably covered it, but because of them being able to go from 5 on a pair to 4 on a pair, the big story is the time change, being able to start an hour later. Those are long, long days, as you guys know, and these ball reps are going to be able to get in here about an hour later. Us here on the ground to get an extra hour of sleep. And for the players themselves, they really don't want to get up at 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning to get in here. Some of them are Airbnb, some of them are staying here at the great properties that are here in Reno. And, you don't see everybody out either. Like there's not a lot of partying or hanging out. They're taking things pretty safely, which I think is a smart move on their part. And then, you break down this oil pattern like you guys did such a fantastic job of just a little while ago. And, they're very slick and they're not going to break down. They're just not going to break down. And I was talking to some ball reps when you guys opened your show, and a lot of them are saying, some people are just going to be in urethane, the whole time because it's fresh, and they really like the urethane on the fresh. But I'm watching a lot of people miss the head pin. I'm sure people are watching here on Bowl TV. I see a lot of head pins being missed, and then when you just miss inside a target, you're going Brooklyn, So that's kind of what I'm seeing. What do you guys think when you guys look at the oil pattern, and what do you guys see from what's been going on the screens here for about 20 minutes or so?
Well, go ahead, Aaron Smith. You're a knowledgeable fellow. Let's hear what you have to say. Being right-handed and all.
You'd be surprised by that. And we switched the pairs here. We got pretty formidable group on the lanes right now with Tim Foy, Josh Blanchard, and Nathan Bohr. So, Tim can open up the lanes a little bit, two-handed style. Josh, it's great to see Josh out there competing. He had stepped away from the PBA Tour to take on a new role as a regional director out west. So it's great to see him back competing. Nathan Bohr. So, you got some shot makers on there, but you got Tim, who's also a great shot maker, but got a little higher rev rate. So I think we're getting a little bit of a look. And, to what you said, Mike, it's not looking too fun out there right now. We've seen quite a few shots. If they get right, they're staying right. JT had mentioned that from Nick Hoagland saying, the gutter may not be out there on this particular pattern here at the NBS. So, seeing that folks are probably going to start to get away from that pretty quickly is going to be interesting. I was surprised, though. It makes sense, but with that much volume, I was still a little surprised to hear the thought of urethane being used so much. But that's why, A, they're the ball reps, and B, they're exactly. And why Matt and I are here behind the cameras and not bowling or doing anything cool like that is because, Matt could. I can't. But so I was a little intrigued by that. So I think I'm really going to watch those first few blocks and qualifying here. Everything's going to be on fresh. And, if there's, some type of trend similar to 2017 when we got to that show and it was all urethane on the show, we could be seeing something similar, even though, just looking at the numbers, the length and the volume, I wouldn't have thought that was going to happen. So I'm a little intrigued to see some of the different choices here. And that's the great part about our SIP here on Bowl TV. We'll get the opportunity to talk to folks about those decisions. But that was the biggest thing for me that from our early talks here is just potentially seeing more urethane than I would have thought for that much volume.
Well, I think if you're gonna miss a head pin, guys, today's the day to do it, right? Everybody's in the cut for the next hour or so. So it's the opportunity to try some things. And if you watch the PBA Tour on TV, urethane is kind of the magic word here in 2021, and especially on the fresh, right? So for a lot of the guys now, that might be the benchmark. You go out there, you start with that, knowing that they're fresh, and you make your moves from there. You get comfortable, you get into your A game, and then you make the moves off of that. And for me, for example, my A game is going to be further toward the outside, and then you start making the moves. You think 40 feet, heavy volume, you probably want to be closer to the track and around the rangefinder down lane. Just keep it tight. But again, you go out there, you throw the shots. You don't know what it's going to do until you see the ball react, and you make your moves off of that. If you have preconceived notions, or you try to make a guess and it's going to be wrong, just go out. That's why you have this hour, right? To go out, try some things, try some balls, change surfaces, find what works. But for most players, they're going to start with what's comfortable and whatever that benchmark is going to be, even if it is urethane now here in 2021, and then adjust from there.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching some ball reaction here in front of me. Obviously we're behind 47 and 48, and they're doing exactly what you just said, Matt. They're trying different reactions. They're trying reactive. They're trying urethane. But I'm seeing a lot of surface go down the lane across the board, regardless of what they're using. Another interesting thing that you guys are familiar with is this PWBA, right? We got some PWBA stars out here participating this week. And I've watched Diana, actually. She's crossing with Kyle Troop, I believe, this week. I don't know that for sure, but from what I can see. And they were actually talking about, they probably got the two most talked about hairstyles on each one of their respective tours. But she's got a really good look out there on the lanes, and it wouldn't surprise me, especially being in an establishment where the Queens has been and where the ladies have participated at. This is a good warm-up event for the PWBA Tour coming up on Bowl TV here in a few weeks. Got a full season. If a young lady makes a nice run at the Masters this year, what are you guys' thoughts on that one?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised by it. They're used to kicking the guys' butts anyway.
Yeah.
But I believe from last count, we had 5 PWBA players in the field: Liz Johnson, Danielle McEwen, Maria Jose Rodriguez, Rocio Restrepo, and then Diana, as you mentioned, bowling with Kyle this week potentially. The thing I think, at least with the interesting cross, and you're hitting a lot of fresh, is that potentially the shot making abilities that these ladies have gotten used to, on the PWBA Tour, bowling on those Nick Hoagland patterns that are notoriously not easy. It requires so much shot making, and someone like Liz or Danielle, who are just that's what they do. They're shot makers. 100% their game. Make shot over and over and over again. Make the adjustments. Continue, strike, fill frames, and put yourself in position. So, taking a look at, obviously, Liz Johnson has won here on the PBA Tour. So the confidence has to be already there for Liz. Not that wouldn't be, but it's got to be there regardless. But, a condition where she gets to repeat the same shot over and over and over again, if she finds a little something out there, I think she could be really tough. You mentioned Diana. Diana's attacks the lanes much differently. She's a little bit slower ball speed. She's going to open up the lanes a little bit more, but she has probably some of the best touch on the PWBA Tour when she gets into those situations. So, you can kind of look at that different ways and how these players will attack it. But, we've seen PWBA players have success in this event in the before at the U.S. Open as well. So I believe Missy Parkin holds the record for the best Masters performance, winning a couple matches, getting to I think tied for 13th. Matt might have that information, but I know that was a couple years ago. But so it's certainly not something that would be out of this world to believe happen. But I think with the way some of the breakdowns are going to go, that potentially could work toward the shot maker's favor in being able to just kind of hunker down in one spot, find a shot to repeat over and over again, and just make better shots than everybody else.
Well, I will say first, I believe it was at the World Cup in 2018. We did a side-by-side who wore it best with the hairstyles of Kyle Troop and Diana. I have to go back and look and see what the votes ended up being and who had the best hairstyle at that event. But very cool stuff there. Great analysis. And I think at this point in bowling history, the other players aren't seeing, besides the skirts they might be wearing, they're not seeing PWBA players out there. They're just bowlers, and they've probably been beaten by them in the past. And, some of the top guys might not even be able to hold their own on the PWBA Tour. So at this point, I think, as Aaron said, definitely not surprised first to see the players there and to see them have success if they do. Some already with success in that building. Of course, Maria has some success at the Queens at the National Bowling Stadium back in 2014. And so same format, same venue, a lot of confidence for her walking in the door, I'm sure, as well. But those are great players. They have won against the men. They've won against the ladies. They've won internationally. Terrific storyline for sure. And we'll certainly check their records and see some of those details. But really, they're just talented players in a very solid field of 200 plus bowlers.
Yeah, and if you wanted fans at home that want to tune in and watch the ladies bowl, it looks like almost all of them are on A squad. I'm looking around. There's Diana. I see Liz, Danielle, and Maria. They're all on A squad.
There we go. We got PWBA squad here at the Masters. All right. I like it.
It seems that way.
I'm hearing announcements here, so we must be getting pretty close to the final flip for these competitors here in A squad practice. So, Mike, since we got you here, what pair should we go to next? Or maybe we should wait till they start moving. But
yeah, I don't know where they're moving yet, man.
but,
I don't know.
you got to help us pick out a quality pair for this last 20 minutes here of A Squad.
Yeah, we could do that for sure.
All right, Mike, we're going to let you get back to it here as we kind of wrap up these final few minutes here of the second part of A Squad. But Mike, I know from your experience at the PWBA Kickoff Classic, we had a lot of fun giving stuff away to Bowl TV fans. And for those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, we definitely appreciate it. But you're going to want to start heading over to bowltv.com, set up that login. It's free to do so today. It takes like 2 minutes to do, and you'll have a chance to win an Amazon Echo Dot. So we're going to give that away to one lucky viewer, but you have to be on bowltv.com to watch. So, Mike, giveaways are fun. What's the proper level of excitement for Matt and I to get to when we're giving our giveaways throughout the week, and you as well when you're on the call?
First of all, Bowl TV, right? What a great product that has been put together. Just the ability to be able to choose all these different pairs and stuff. When I stream on Inside Bowling, I got one channel and it's free, right? But here on Bowl TV, you get all these different channels. You can go check everything out. So that's cool to begin with. Number two, the fact that Bowl TV is allowing people to sign up for free and watch these practice squads over there, where you also get the chat, where you can interact with us. That's awesome. And then to those of you that want to anchor down for the next 2 weeks and watch this event and the U.S. Open, or just sign up for a full year and get the whole PWBA, college bowling. I mean, you guys know how many events you cover. It's ridiculous. It's just a great service, and people should check it out. And then on top of that, you got these giveaways that you guys are doing to just kind of do a little fan interaction and a little added value and appreciation for being part of Bowl TV, being a subscriber. So I would encourage anybody, if you have the opportunity, Uncle Joe just sent us all $1,400. I think this is a great time to invest a little bit of that money into bowling. And if you're a bowler yourself, you're going to learn something. So just chalk it up to coaching. And if you form a Schedule C or you treat your bowling as a business, just put that as a tax write-off. No big deal. So it's even less than what you think it's going to be. So that's what I think about Bowl TV, and I'm just looking forward to being here with you guys, bringing the action. It's like 16 days for me, 12 days of bowling. So that's what I think. I think just everybody should head over to Bowl TV right now, have a chance to win this Echo Dot. We're giving away a few of those things and other stuff throughout the week. So, guys, I'm going to bounce. Thanks for watching, everybody at home. You'll see me soon.
All right. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, Mike. Aaron Smith, I took a peek at the Masters records, and it's going to need a once-over before we get going here this week. But unless something wacky happened in 2019 that I don't remember, I'm not aware of, Missy Parkin finished tied for 9th in 2012. And I believe that was your Mike Fagan got the job done in Las Vegas. And so tied for 9th is the number. There you go.
Excellent stuff there, Mr. Canizaro. And, folks, Mike makes some great points. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the Bowl TV community, the chat. Big shout out to all you good folks. Always a fun environment. A lot of great folks in there talking about bowling, having a good time. We like to interact in that fashion as well. If questions are coming up, we certainly do our best. We'll have someone either in the chat or, every once in a while, we'll even bring the questions in to the broadcast here and answer them along the way. So the community aspect of it, pretty special as well, as it looks like we are potentially going to be getting a little quiet here in just a minute or two. It looks like a few of the guys are getting ready to head off to their next pair. But a lot of cool things to enjoy on bowltv.com. And, of course, PWBA starting up in just a couple of weeks. April 22nd, the PWBA Twin Cities Open is going to get underway. That's the official practice day. Competition starts the 23rd. A champion crown right here on bowltv.com on the 24th. So that's going to be the 4th event of the season. We've already had 3 great events in the books. And we're looking forward to continuing that throughout the course of the year, traveling week to week with the PWBA Tour, along with all the other great events, short duration, long duration going on with USBC Open Championships and Women's Championships starting up in just a couple of weeks as well. The Women's Championships will actually be at the National Bowling Stadium. So I know some of the staff already in place getting ready for that event. 73 days going through July, and then the Open Championships a little bit farther north. You just got to drive through Tonopah. That's it. Or south. Yeah, directions. Yeah, directions. All right. So south through Tonopah. You can't go north through Tonopah unless you're coming from Las Vegas, which is where the Open Championships is at. South Point Bowling Plaza. 2 venues for that. This bowling center as well. That's going to start beginning of May and go through July, middle of July. So opportunities to sign up for both of those events still. And Matt, I believe we even had a special announcement about the Open Championships today.
We did. Registration officially open to the public now. If you'd like to bowl in 2022, it's available. Go in there, grab your times. A lot of good times still available, of course, and still plenty of time to enter the 2021 Open Championships as well. We'll be in Las Vegas at South Point back-to-back years, May 1st to July 18th this year, and we'll be back to our normal March to July timeframe in 2022. All the details are on bowl.com. Bowl.com/openchamp is the place for that. So get in there early, real time. We'll tell you what squads and days are available, but make sure to act early, as those times tend to fly pretty quickly. And hard to believe, Aaron Smith, just less than a month away. I'll be in the car driving my way to Las Vegas for opening day, but still plenty of bowling to be done between now and then.
And you don't even have to drive north through Tonopah and party at the Clown Motel. So there you go.
That is one of my favorite things, though, is knowing that just 456 miles is the happiness that is Reno.
All right, as we get ready for this final block of A squad, we're going to bring Jason Thomas back in. So JT,
what is guys? Up? Yeah, I wish I had a better guest for you, but I actually have asked quite a few of the reps, to come up and talk, and they're like, we literally don't have time right now. We just, there's so much to figure out, so many players to watch. The center is so spread out that they are working, double time right now, trying to, and it's such a unique situation. It's a very difficult pattern to figure out, but then also, there's they don't really have that luxury of knowing, like, at some point in the block, they're just going to open up and you're going to get to whack them, because it's not going to happen. So they're really, really bearing down to try to figure out, hey, how can we get as much pins as we can on what we have? And, these players, they'll have the luxury of watching the next 2 squads of practice, but any ideas they come up with over the rest of the day, they're going to have to try it for score. So just really, really thought that was interesting. The other thing I wanted to mention was I really like having to wear this mask, because I'm eating a spinach salad in between running around trying to do stuff, and I know there's stuff in my teeth, so it covers it completely. So anyway, just wanted to mention that.
Well, there you go. That's it's not only protecting you, but strategy as well. So there you go.
But I will grab a couple players for you to talk after they're all done, and get their perspective on what they saw out there. So if folks are thinking this is going to end right as soon as the bowling's done, it won't. We'll try to get a good 2 or 3 players in to give their perspective on what they saw out there.
All right, looks like this final 20-minute block is now officially been given the green light from Damon Scirocco, our one of the many great individuals on site, making sure these competitors have a top-notch tournament experience. We got Michael Tang on this pair as well, so get to see him toss a few shots as we get lined up. But JT, if there's anyone on the Bowl TV pairs you think we should take a look at here, please let us know. We have 8 channels to choose from here.
Yeah, was interesting. We had Kyle Troop and Danielle McEwen on 43 and 44, which unfortunately is the one pair out of all the group that we're not covering. But I was watching that pair, and it seemed like to me Danielle McEwen was striking quite a bit, and this could be a pattern that she could do very well on, because it allows her to keep the ball in front of her, which, as we know on tour, that's what she's fantastic at. And she doesn't have to start too far to the right, and it's going to probably be low scoring. So the disadvantage she has in terms of carry because of her rev rate is going to be neutralized. So I think her, Liz Johnson, could really be huge factors on what we're seeing out there right now. So I'd be interested to get a little bit of a look at her, and I think we've got her up on the high side right now if you can find her.
All right, I'm taking a scroll through, and once again, folks, if you're watching on BullTV.com, if you're watching on a desktop or your laptop, you can find all the channels below the video. So if you're watching full screen, you would have to go out for a second to change the channel, but you might have to scroll a little bit to get to them all because there are so many of them. But you can pick and choose. So once you get the lane pairings, you can see that. You can follow your favorite athletes from pair to pair and see how they do when they're on basically the high end of the house. They'll more than likely be covered on Bull TV. If you're watching on a mobile device, in the top right-hand corner, you'll find a little 4-box window pane. That'll take you to the channel navigation as well. Select it by lanes. So if you're following the lane pairings as well, another great way to do it. So a few different options, once again, on bulltv.com. And folks who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, we certainly appreciate it. But this is going to be your final warning to take a trip over to bulltv.com, create a login, check out the stream from there. You can check out all those channels too, but you got to be on the main channel for an opportunity to win an Amazon Echo Dot. We're going to be giving that away here in just a couple of minutes. So you'll hear us talk about it on Facebook and YouTube, but the only way to become eligible to win is on bulltv.com. So once again, it takes just a few minutes to set up to watch today. We're going to be here for all 3 practice sessions, and we're going to be giving away an Echo Dot during each practice session. Just set up a login if you haven't done so already. If you already have one, we thank you for that. Swing on by for a little bit, say hello in the chat. But that's going to be coming up here in just a couple minutes. Someone's going to be taking home an Amazon Echo Dot, courtesy of Bull TV.
65 and 66, guys. That's the pair.
65 and 66 says Mr.
Danielle is not in camera range, but Liz Johnson is on 65 and 66. So I think that would be interesting to look at. But also looking out at some of the players like Brandon Novak and AJ Johnson. It looks like they're able, now that there's been a little bit of play on some of these lanes, to get in a little bit deeper and throw some strikes. So that's something to watch for. But by no means are they opened up at this point.
And we saw a few of the guys that we were watching during the last block. Try some of those. Basically get more into the middle of the pattern, kind of see what would work, see what they could get away with, basically. And shot making still at a premium, but we've made the move now. We're behind lanes 65 through 68, and there you can see to your far left. I'm hitting my mic here. Don't mind me. We do have Liz Johnson, so we'll get to see the legend Liz Johnson, USBC Hall of Famer, soon to be future sometime down the road once she finally stops winning on the PWBA Tour. PWBA Tour Hall of Famer, 24 titles. But we'll get to see how she's attacking this pattern here after we've seen some games on it. And, kind of what you talked about, JT, we were talking about with Mike Flanagan a little bit earlier from Inside Bowling, is that, looking at the PWBA players in the field, we have 5 of them. We could see, you mentioned Danielle being able to keep kind of everything in front of her. Liz is, very similar to that, and being able to kind of play tighter angles, play more up the lane, and then just repeat shots like it's going out of style. She has the experience. She's found success on the PBA Tour. So how cool would it be to see her make another run like this at the NBS?
Yeah, no, I for sure. And if what Chuck Gardner said is true, and we see a lot of urethane, Liz might have a little bit of an advantage because she could see some carry down to the left of her and throw reactive. So, the carry down could give her a little bit of hold. She could stay in that little track area, and God, who's better in the world, man or woman, at keeping it tight in the track.
I would, that's, and for the folks, put your thoughts in the chat there as well, folks. Let's gauge some of the public opinion there on JT's call about Liz. So I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah, and she's also made 3 men's TV shows, and plus winning a PBA title. So she was the first woman to make a TV show, finished second, and then she's made a couple of more, with the last one coming in that Scorpion Championship a few years back at the World Series of Bowling. So she's not afraid to be out here, and I could certainly see her being a big factor with the way the lanes are going to play.
Of course, the National Bowling Stadium, a couple of years back, 2009, Liz took home the USBC Queens title at the NBS qualifying match play held at the 78 lane Taj Mahal 10 pins. The finals moved over to the Reno Event Center. So that was definitely a unique format back in 2009, seeing it in a different venue. But regardless, Liz took care of business. I believe shot an 800 series on the championship lanes. Very impressive to watch. And obviously the Queens, same exact format as the Masters. So definitely knows how to navigate the 2 aspects of this event, as Matt talked about a little bit earlier on the podcast. Essentially finding a way to have success in 2 different events to make your run toward the stepladder finals.
All right, guys, I'm going to go try to line up some real guests for you. Maybe a ball rep before we call it a practice session, and then definitely a couple of players. Okay.
Sounds great, JT. Thank you again. All right, Matt, we're coming up on the final few minutes here before we wrap up this practice session. So I think this is the time. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I know you love this part.
I do. I think it's time to get the giveaway going, folks. So final call. Head on over, bowltv.com, set up a login. In the next 3 minutes or so, we're going to have this thing start up. So you can win an Amazon Echo Dot. So this is kind of the final call for to head on over. Last chance. But it's so easy to do to participate. All you have to do is click on a button that says you're going to see it pop up in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You might not want to be in the full screen mode when that happens. So you might want to see the chat, see everything, but you'll see it pop up in the left-hand corner of the screen. You just have to wait for the prompt that says basically enter me to win, submit entry, whatever it may say. And then you're entered for the chance to win. The computer will pick someone at random and we got a winner. So that's going to be pretty awesome here. Just a couple of minutes left. Now, Matt, we've had our fair share of experience at the Masters as part of the USBC PR media team. We've seen a player like Andrew Anderson break through for his first victory on the PBA Tour, which eventually led to him winning Player of the Year in 2018. We saw Belmo win 3 in a row. We saw him win a record 4th. For you, what is a favorite Masters memory that you've gotten to be a part of over the course of your long storied career here at USBC?
Well, I got to bowl in the Masters in 2006, if that counts.
Can we look up the stats real quick?
Let's not do that. I believe that week also included a sick day or two, not to make excuses, but I was eventually available for the TV show. But we had some great venues over the years beyond just the National Bowling Stadium. Of course, Miller Park a couple times, 2004 and 2007. And then we were at US Cellular Arena in 2005 and 6. Got to watch Doug Kent win the Masters for a second time after winning for the first time in 1991 when Aaron was just a child. But Miller Park, awesome venue. So fortunate to have been a part of those. You mentioned Belmo winning for the 4th time. I got to be there as a part of that. Watching Simonson become the youngest major champion in PBA Tour history in 2016 in Indianapolis during a blizzard. That was pretty awesome. So many good memories. And then, of course, what we saw here at the National Bowling Stadium 2010. Walter Ray winning again over Chris Barnes. And that was the day we met Emil Williams Jr. for the first time. So that one always will stand out. That guy introduced himself. I'm here to work the Open Championships. My name is Emil. Do you have any tickets for the show? Not, hey, let me help you. Do you need help with the story or anything? No, I'm a bowling fan first. Let me get in there and I want to watch the show. And that was already 11 years ago. We've been friends and co-workers ever since. So that's my top moment right there, meeting Emil Williams Jr. on site at the 2010 USBC Masters.
Very nice. That victory by Walter Ray, nice little 290 in the championship match. I'm sure Chris Barnes less than excited about that string of strikes from Walter Ray. But with that, folks, it's time. We're going to get this giveaway going. So you're going to see the prompt in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It's going to have a little rundown clock as well. So let it run down. Then you'll see, once again, you'll have that button. It'll be blue. You'll see it. It'll give you the opportunity to click on it. They'll say you're entered, you're ready to go, and then we'll wait and see who wins. So, folks, this is the time. Best of luck to everybody. Someone's taking home an Amazon Echo Dot. And, we talked about with Mike a little bit. It's not just today. It's going to be all throughout the course of the week, folks. We got some bowling balls to give away at this event. We got some Bose speakers, some wireless headphones from, I'm not going to say the brand because I'm not 100% sure right now. But we got a good variety of giveaways, usually one each day, one each round. It may vary throughout the course of the week, but that's all part about the Bowl TV experience, especially at these big-time events. We have 2 consecutive major championships back-to-back here at the NBS. So it's going to be a very cool opportunity for us. Qualifying and match play, we're going to have essentially, nearly 10 channels for you to watch, which is pretty awesome. All leading up to the FS1 TV shows the next 2 Sundays. So once again, final call, click submit entry, that blue button. That'll be the one to hit, folks. And we'll have a winner here in just a moment. But yeah, we're going to be doing this throughout the course of the week. Not only the coverage, not only the guests like you've kind of seen today. We're going to continue this throughout the course of the week. So Matt, myself, Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, folks on site at the NBS. We can bring folks in and out from other places as well. So, for a few folks who might be watching right now, who are in the field, hit us up. Let us know. We'll you only got one squad a day. You can come by and talk to us. So we certainly would have all that going on. But we are, we got an Amazon Echo Dot to give away. And it's going home to Larry Samples. So congratulations, Larry. Our marketing team will be in contact with you shortly to get that all set up. But the winner of the first giveaway, congratulations, Larry. We're going to bring, we do have a note from JT. So once he returns here, we'll bring him back in. So JT, we just gave away our first Amazon Echo Dot, but you got some news for us.
That's awesome. Echo Dot. I have one at my house. Employees are not eligible, so I didn't have a chance to win this one. But yeah, that's awesome. Larry, was it Larry you said?
Larry, yep.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, I just had one quick update. I asked him, Mac, if he had a minute, and he said, "Hey, they're really, really hard, man. I gotta make sure Chris Barnes is happy, and then I can come talk to you guys." But so that means he's not going to talk to us because, as you know, Chris Barnes has never been happy in his whole life. So, no, that's just a joke between me and him. But no, one more update on the setup here, just as if the oil pattern wasn't difficult enough. They just put these pins in last night. These are the first balls that have touched these pins ever in the history of these pins' lives. And so that means that the carry is going to be pretty tough, which, is going to make things. And the carry always is a little bit on the tough side here at the stadium. But, the fact that these pins are brand new, I don't even know if by the time we get to the U.S. Open next week, they'll be even broken in. So it's going to be tough to score.
That's definitely an interesting fact. So on top of having a challenging 40-foot pattern with 30 mils and not necessarily getting to see the breakdown like you're used to, so you're going to continually almost fresh pairs, you also have to combat brand new pins. So that sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of bowlers saying throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, for sure. But it's a major championship. It's not supposed to be easy, right?
That is true, JT. That is true. So we are we're getting pretty close to wrapping up our first block here, but and as we just saw, a absolute wrap 10 pin right there. So yes, that's going to be it'll be interesting to see the scoring pace throughout this as well. To especially getting into a couple days from now when we get into round 3, and one of the funnest days of the year is cut score day at the USBC Masters, running back and forth, seeing who's around the number during that final block, hearing what the rumor is on the between the ball reps and the players, and of course, running down those final few scores to see what it is, and obviously the excitement of waiting to see if you're on the bubble. That will be interesting to see the scoring pace where might be a little bit tougher to put together strings of strikes, and might see a little bit lower number when it's all said and done based off a few of these factors.
Yeah, and it's a cut you do not want to miss. I mean, you don't want to miss any cut. At least, no bowler I've known has ever wanted to miss a cut. But the Masters really breaks your heart when you miss the cut, because anybody has a chance to win once you get into that top 64. So, hey, guess who's coming in?
Oh, look at this guy.
Happy?
Yeah, I think so. That's not easy to do, I can tell you. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Tim, it's Aaron Smith and Matt Cannizzaro. How you doing, bud?
Guys, how you doing? Hey, well, first off, it's great to be back in the stadium. Somehow I got Chris to smile, which is good. And, yeah, they're hard, guys. The lanes are hard. So, I mean, it's the Masters, right? It's what's supposed to be. So, excited to be back in the bowling stadium. Excited to be back here in Reno. Got some wonderful events in front of us, and always nice to talk to you guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing well, sir. It's great to see you. Great to see you back out there. Obviously, we hope everything has been going well for you leading up to this. But you mentioned they're hard out there. 40 foot, 30 mils. JT just told us brand new pins to add on top of that to make carry even more fun. But what are kind of some of the early messages you're giving your players about how to attack this pattern?
Really, it's going to be about angles. Usually, what is the most important thing at the Masters, anyway, is angles. Your angle of attack always determines how successful you are in this tournament. You really got to use the 15 games to navigate through the challenges of moving in this house. This house is still very difficult, from high side to the middle to the low end. We've got to get the right surfaces on the balls for the guys and make sure they're seeing the lane the right way. It's always a challenge. I mean, it's a major championship. And with all the things that this pandemic has brought us, it's brought us a new format with not new format, but new crossings changes, which are going to be even more challenging to the players as they navigate through the tournament.
Now, Tim Mack, the urethane conversation is very frequent these days. We've heard varying viewpoints so far early in practice. How about being the deciding vote for us and tell us how things are looking as far as that? Of course, we know that you guys especially have some players who really that's kind of their A game, right? So how's that looking so far?
Well, listen, obviously Jesper Svensson's in the A squad. I watched him throw some really good shots, obviously using the urethane ball for him. So it controls when you want to play straighter angles and you want your ball not to change direction off the back of the pattern, urethane is usually the number one choice. However, when you have this amount of volume and just the pattern and the tendencies in this building, it make it extremely difficult to navigate across the house. So I think guys are obviously going to do what is going to keep them in their comfort zone. So I saw a couple guys using urethane, but also a lot of guys using reactive as a mix out there. It's not usually, in today's game where you see maybe one choose, all choose when it comes to the urethane ball. So there's we're gonna meet after the squad with the tour team and see what they saw and see what we saw together as a team and talk to our players and see what's the best way to navigate the these challenges, moving forward to get these guys ready for A Squad tomorrow morning.
Always good stuff, Timmy.
Appreciate you guys, and appreciate Bowl TV and all the fans out there for supporting bowling, and continue to support your local centers and your local pro shops and just your local businesses. And we'll be keeping strong and keeping the faith. Bowling's going to survive, and we're going to be better on the way out of this. Appreciate you guys' time as always.
Absolutely. Thanks, Timmy. We appreciate it, bud.
See you guys.
All right. USBC Hall of Famer Tim Mack joining us there, representing the many great products of Storm. So we are just about done here. A Squad's, I don't hear any pins. I hear some cycling going on. I don't hear pins, but JT said he might grab us some players. So we'll go ahead and stay on the air here for a couple of minutes. Let's go full screen here while we wait and see. There we are, Matthew.
That's Bowl TV's finest right there, Mr. Smith, for the next 120 hours of the week or whatever that number ends up being.
Timmy Mack, indeed. That's right. We'll have him anchor the coverage as much as we can. But once again, that's going to be one of the great aspects throughout the course of this week, folks, is that we are going to have this access to these folks, whether they're stepping off the lanes after putting together a monster block, a defending champion, a past champion, whatever it may be. We have the ability to bring them into the broadcast and find out right then and there, kind of what's up, what's new, and, get that insight from the ball reps as well, trying to understand what's been working all along the way. So it looks like we do have our first guest ready. So Matt, are you ready? Can you handle this?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. Let's welcome in Chris Vi. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Excellent. The real question is, how are you doing after an hour on that?
I'm not doing too bad. It's a little different, moving every 20 minutes or so. So practice went by pretty quickly, but I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, Aaron, remember that's a world champion, Chris Vi. Don't forget. Also,
that's true.
Owns a televised 300 game now. So since we've last seen him, getting some things done, making some progress, has to have a lot of confidence coming into this event. Chris, 2021, well underway now. How are you feeling after the success you've had early in the year and coming into this event? You bowled well at the stadium, nearly picked up a team title at the Open Championship. So, plus everybody just loves the stadium. But thoughts on that first?
Yeah, obviously the game feels really good right now. I'm bowling well. I feel like I'm seeing the lane, and correctly, and I'm making good decisions and just kind of overall bowling really well. So confidence is pretty high right now. Obviously, this is kind of one of those tournaments that really anything can happen. Kind of a shorter qualifying format, but if you get into match play, then it's really a grind from there. So, confidence is high, but this is going to be an exciting tournament for sure.
Now, Chris, we've had some back and forth discussions. We talked to a few ball reps. The folks in the chat were going back and forth a little bit as well. But as far as equipment wise, what did you like on the fresh? What was working for you? We watched you a little bit during that first block. We saw that green high road out there for a little bit. But what were the things that you kind of liked about it? And the big question is, we had some folks saying, might see a lot of urethane, might not see very much. So what was your opinion on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Masters, so I feel like urethane's, kind of the first ball out of the bag for a majority of the bowlers here. It definitely looked good for me too. That's probably going to it's going to get a look during practice. Whether I start with it, I'm not sure yet. But I have a couple of different options. It's kind of the balls that are a little bit smoother to be able to kind of control the pattern, because it is pretty flat in the middle part of the lane. So just trying to manage that and be able to hit the pocket, it's going to be key for sure.
All right, Chris, one final question for you before we let you go. But this impressive run you've been on at majors started last year at the U.S. Open. And, you've been steady near the top of the standings each and every major. What is it about these longer events, these tougher events, these tough patterns that have really allowed you to kind of break through to that next step? And, what's eventually going to lead to a PBA Tour title for you. But, what's been working so well for you at these longer events with these longer formats that has allowed you to have success?
Yeah, I wish I had like a definite answer for that. But really, like, I've always enjoyed super long tournaments. Even as bowling as youth, like, just the longer the tournament, the better for me. I feel like, being in fairly good shape and being able to kind of withstand, the 56 games or however many games that we have to bowl in the week. I feel like at the end of the tournament, I'm still pretty fresh. I still feel like I can bowl more. So I think I'm just able to kind of just manage it a little bit better. And I don't know. I feel like nutrition and staying hydrated and all those good things basically lead to being able to make, still good decisions down the stretch.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out, and we can't wait to see you on the lane starting tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for having me.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Chris. We'll
Chris.
see you soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
So Aaron Smith, Chris Fye just mentioned two things that totally go out the window for me and for you. I think when we get to Reno, he said first good decisions and good nutrition, and those are both things. Those are the exact reasons not to go to Reno, right? You go there to make sure that neither one of those things happens. But that's why those guys are the athletes, as you pointed out, and we're here doing our thing. But is it possible to enjoy Reno as much as we do? By following those two rules, I don't know, but good times indeed.
It's a very excellent point. One of our favorite cities, and always a great host as well. The biggest little city in the world. JT says he has one more guest coming up for us here, so we are expecting Danielle McEwen to join us here for a quick chat before we wrap things up for this block. But once again, folks, Matt and I we're taking the long shift today. We're going to be here until late. We'll just call it late for today. But B Squad will be up at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then C Squad for their practice session 11 p.m. Eastern, so 10 local time for us, 8 out in Reno. But so we got plenty more of this look into the Masters to start up. But right now we got our second guest ready, so let's go ahead and bring her in. PWBA Tour Champion Danielle McEwen. So hello, Danielle. How are you?
Hi guys, I'm good. How are you?
We are doing well. So after an hour on that 40-foot pattern, just give us some initial impressions about what you liked, what you didn't like, and potentially what type of equipment you might be using out of the gates tomorrow.
Okay. Well, for starters, as always on these crazy practice sessions, I always am like freaking out at the end because it's so rush to kind of throw every ball in every area and figure it out. So kind of spinning. What I liked was smooth, controllable balls, especially down lane. It wanted to really jump off the spot down lane. If you got it open, it would just kind of sail through it. So anything that was controllable was kind of what I was looking for. Try to get my hand to do the right thing and just find something consistent. They seem tricky. So controlling the pocket and making spares is going to be huge.
All right. As far as, I obviously this was the first look at, you guys only found out about a half hour before. Going into tomorrow, what type of, looking at surface, how many Abralon pads do you think you're going to see out there? How are you guys going to navigate that portion of it, you think?
Definitely a little bit, not so much for me, probably more for the guys. Yeah, just in between, nothing too crazy, just enough to kind of get it to slow down the right way. I'm going to have a couple of different options as step downs just because, fresh is really all we're going to see. So we're not really looking for big transition later in the block. It's more about having options that if one doesn't work, you have a good plan B, plan C to go to right away.
Danielle, you've seen the stadium a few times, whether it be on the PBA Tour, PWBA Tour, a chance to bowl across the venue. Any of that past experience come into mind to come into play so far this week? I know you take really good notes generally. So when you're going into a venue, especially in a shorter format or in a hurried practice session, how much have those notes, or will they come into play in helping you get comfortable at the stadium this week?
Yeah, absolutely. This stadium play is very different from one end to the other. And there's a lot of kind of bays that have tendencies as you go across the house. So just to be able to have all those written down in my notebook, the couple pairs that I know of flagged, and then now we have our topography graphs to go over tonight. So I'll go through and chart out all my pairs, and hopefully all the information will help me be successful.
All right, Danielle, we know you We know you stay busy. You bowl everything out there. You bowled the World Series. You're going to stick around for the U.S. Open. Just how much is all this going to help you in just a couple more weeks after that? Obviously, we don't want to look too far ahead, but PWBA Tour starting up in just a couple of weeks. How important are these two events to get ready for that second swing of the tour?
It's so important, especially right now after the last year that we had. I still feel just so out of whack, out of sync with not being out on the lanes competing constantly, which is just what I'm used to. So getting the competitive vibes back these next couple of weeks are going to be huge.
All right, Danielle. Well, we will let you rest up for tomorrow, but we thank you as always for joining us here on Bowl TV, and hopefully get a few more opportunities to talk to you. Best of luck throughout the course of both events, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All right.
Danielle.
Thanks, Danielle. All right. Well, Mr. Cannizzaro, we are all wrapped up here for today. Well, for this block, I should say A squad. We still got B squad and C squad coming up next, as we mentioned. 8 p.m. Eastern for B squad, 11 p.m. Eastern for C squad. So we're burning the midnight oil tonight and every night here on Bowl TV. But that's how we bring you all this coverage, folks, is putting in some long hours for you to enjoy these great athletes over and over again. So it's, we're bowling. That's, after 2020, we missed the Masters in 2020. 2019, that telecast was early in the year. So it's been a long time since we've had that Masters excitement, that Masters feel. And I'm getting it right now. So, for Jason Thomas and Mike Flanagan on site. We talked to Chuck Gardner. We talked to Timmy Mack, Chris Vi, Danielle McEwen. Just so many great individuals to take a few minutes out, talk about this 40-foot pattern and kind of what we expect to see throughout the course of the week. So, Matt, drop us some initial impressions here from this first block.
Well, I mean, I think it's as expected, right? It's just everybody going out there trying all the different things. You got 1 hour to find the look. The good part about this event is that the pattern doesn't change, right? It is what it is for the entire 15 games. And the bad part about this event for some is that the pattern doesn't change. It's the same for all 15 games. So, the opportunity to go, as Danielle said, look at the reports and talk to each other and the reps and just get a feel for everything before qualifying tomorrow. And I'll have some more thoughts just about the history of the event, the format and such as we're back at it in a little while. We don't want to waste all the good stuff for A squad. So we'll dive more into it coming up the rest of the way today.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. So for all of our guests, for the staff at the National Bowling Stadium, both for the NBS and from the USBC side working this week, a big thank you, of course, RSCVA, the Row. Gotta love the Row. Silver Legacy, El Dorado, Circus Hotel and Casino, PBA and Fox Sports throughout the course of the week. 900 Global, Roto Group, and Storm, our short duration gold industry partners. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider. Of course, USBC. Jason Thomas and Mike Flanagan. Matt Cannizzaro, the one and only. I'm Aaron Smith. Thank you again for joining us here. This live look, pretty cool thing we're doing here with the podcast from the USBC Masters. So we'll be back in just a couple hours, 8 p.m. Eastern for B Squad. We'll be giving away another Amazon Echo Dot too. So head over to bowltv.com, get that login set up so you can watch for free today. But you'll have to have that subscription set up to watch once the action starts, once we start keeping score, once it becomes real. Have to have that subscription. So a few different options. Go to bowltv.com, click on the Join Bowl TV button. You'll see the options. Sign up today to enjoy this great tournament and the U.S. Open, the PWBA Tour, collegiate bowling, all of it right here on bowltv.com. So, folks, we'll see you in a couple hours. And just remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you soon.